I'm pressing start on the recording, and then I'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about. Alright, we're going to talk a bit about Crosshair placement after this game's done. Make sure you're not teleporting out too early. The longer we're able to stay in, the better, because we do more damage, do our job more. So if we're instantly getting out, then we're not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. Very nice.
Enemy here.
Always plan an exit. Hello. What's ya? Objective A captured. Escort an enemy here.
Nah, that was bad on my part.
Yeah, just make sure if we're trying to do an engagement on her that we're, on decloaking behind her, not in front of her. That way she can't just cancel the hack instantly. Oh, forgot the hack.
That's one of my biggest problems is, like, I've tried aim trainers and all that stuff, but I'm having a hard time 1v1ing, especially when I get the drop on them. And I know those weren't really drops, but that's a terrible spot. Sorry, I got a little excited. Oh, that's not good. Let's see if she can see me when I run all the way around here.
Oh. Just gotta pay attention to where everyone else is, as well. People come back from spawn, translocating out when we get it there. Thing we're gonna go over, really I'm noticing a lot of the times just we're not super smooth with our transitions of, of our rotations of translocating in, translocating out, making sure we're hacking health packs, which we'll go over a little bit after game is over and whatnot. But that's one of the points that I'm noticing currently.
Nah, I was trying to steal that one.
Yep.
Oh, that's not good.
Gotta go.
Why has the payload stopped? We must move.
Watch the health bar. Probably want to be grabbing it rather than sitting at 100 HP.
Right. And a lot of these new maps, I don't really know where all the health packs are yet.
Yeah, a lot of it's just kind of, you wander around the sides, because it's never going to be down the middle, right? It's always on the sides. Typically not going to be up on high grounds with health packs. So you're looking for kind of side rooms and alleyways that you most of the time will have those. So there's one, I think there's a mega behind you here.
Yeah.
But
oops. I thought my translocator was still down, because it's right here. That's the one I usually set up shop at this part of the map.
Yep, and then once we reach the next part of the map, now we're trying to set up just a little bit further. You'll be ready for that next fight. No. Make sure we're paying attention to, once again, where the enemy team is at, so we're not just, decloaking right next to them. Then, placing translocator right next to them, so that's a little bit of awareness that's getting us killed there. Making sure we're keeping in mind our surroundings.
That party was boring. Feeling much better.
Yep. Remember that you can hack and throw translocator while invis, so there's no reason not to immediately invis again as soon as you get back. That's something.
Right.
Once again, we'll discuss maybe how you can be a bit more efficient with it.
Okay.
All right.
Go a little further.
Well, that's probably not too bad of a spot. Yep. A lot of these fights, I'm noticing that we're kind of sitting out a little bit where we could be going in and damage. Mostly, I would say there's a lot of time that we're inactive and not doing a lot, and that kind of gets into actions per minute, which once again we'll talk about, like, you know, how can you be in as much as possible? How can we be more efficient getting in, you know, getting in and getting out, and whatnot.
Apagando las luces. You're boring me. You're mine now. This ends now. Peace. No vaya a ser que lo necesite.
The payload is approaching its destination.
¿Qué tal?
Nice kill.
Más de dónde vino eso.
Surrender to my will.
Ah, I got interrupted.
All right. During that last fight, once again, this is something we'll talk about when we get into training range after we're done here, but just make sure we're getting closer to people, because that's outside of our effective range when we're just sitting up there on high ground, because Sombra's not a mid-ranged character. She's a close to mid-range character, so we can't really be playing that far away from people most of the time. Making things I'm noticing right off the bat is just large amounts of time spent out of fights. So like sometimes like a whole fight will go on and we're running around in their backline looking for a health pack, that sort of thing. Make sure that, you know, it's better that you just try to be as fast as possible. Settle for just throwing translocator on the ground so that you're able to participate in the fight, and then of course knowing where health packs are and having them preset is going to help a lot with that as well. But there's just a lot of time that's wasted where we're running around in the back line. Make sure you have translocator down before you're engaging, because sometimes he'll go in and we don't have a exit translocator. Consider, I probably wouldn't set up there, because they're coming in from right there, and then that's a very easy translocator for them to see where you're going and for them to destroy it very easily. Yep. If you wanted to, I don't know if there's if you maybe want to look for a health pack like back over where you place your translocator, see if there's anything over there. I don't know that area of the map. Yep, right there. There you go.
Attackers incoming. Defend.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
that's
like
that's
how long the hacked health packs last now.
yeah, they're a lot shorter, but that's part of if you have it's also a really short cooldown though when you do hack them on your hack. So you probably want to like rehack it every time you teleport back, pretty much. Oh, stay in for an extra second, right? You still have 110 HP there, so one extra half a second gets soldier dead.
Yeah, I was afraid because I was getting jumped. I should have translocated.
Smithery.
I'll find a back door.
Alright.
Always plan an exit. Nah, that party was boring. Hack complete. You're mine now.
Oops.
Yep.
Didn't know where I was on the map.
Right now, I probably want to be using this time to go set up, like, you know, because that translocator location may be a little bit risky if it's inside of them. But, or, I mean, that's fine if the fight's moving forwards here.
System compromised. Just in case.
Very nice. Once again, make sure you're not translocating out if you're still 200 HP and you're not really being pressured out yet.
They've got us outnumbered.
Has reached the checkpoint.
Okay, probably right now we're looking for health pack, try to get set up. Though we do want to watch this one because it's right next to their spawn.
Much better.
Maybe that one, when we get the chance, maybe that like right side mega would be a good spot to be. Like, you know, the one on the stairway.
EMP charged.
Yeah, so maybe while we're waiting on our team to regroup here. We do have EMP anyways. Yeah, because that one it's a little out of the way, but at the same time, it's near enough to the fight where we can get back really fast, right? And be in the middle of the action. And Mega's going to be better than those minis.
Ready to activate the EMP. Systems out.
And make sure you're not staring at your team when you do that, but you're looking at the enemy team so you can be shooting and whatnot. You know, the EMP is not going to do anything to your team, so we just want to make sure we're having our crosshair preset on enemies, which we'll talk a little bit about after we're done here.
Sistema comprometido. Catch you later. Feeling much better. ¿Extrañaste? No vaya a ser que lo necesite. Hack complete.
Sting. All right.
They really have it
See,
out.
normally this is where I would be frustrated,
Score
and I would end up switching to something else
3.
because I don't know if my Sombra is being effective.
What other characters would you typically swap to?
Usually I go Soldier Reaper.
Select your
Soldier probably wouldn't be too bad on some of these high ground, but honestly, both of them sound pretty good on this point. I think Soldier might be better on first point over Reaper because it's a little bit more open, you know, and wider with more high grounds. But then after that, second and third Reaper probably takes a little, especially second. Second has a lot of like, you know, high grounds and it can get very close quarters. So honestly, either or would work very well. I think maybe Soldier would have a little bit more flexibility on the map if you're not wanting to swap frequently. But Reaper also would not be a bad choice here.
Follow my lead.
Okay.
And then
Usually,
yeah.
I just go flank the healers. I play Reaper kind of like Sombra, but I use his tool set.
Yeah.
My heart is strong, and my javelin is
All right.
sharp.
We'll talk. I guess I'll just save that for a bit.
Okay.
Sorry, I saw a lot. There's a lot of things saving up at the moment that are a bit more visual and longer that we can't really go over on the while you're dead portions.
Yeah.
Capture objective
Nice kill. Watch jumping though. Just jumping without reason can make it actually easier to get headshot. Okay. A little bit delayed of a helix. It does 120 damage, so that's just a little over half. So if someone's like, if a squishy target is little, you know, over half, you can finish him off with that helix. Just gotta be ready to use it as that finisher. It's like right there, Reaper would be a one tap.
10 seconds
think it's a good idea that we came and took high ground. Probably, I think you can leap from this high ground to the left high ground as well.
I thought I heard Reaper on my left.
All right.
30 seconds remaining.
Good first point.
Escort the payload.
Heels coming up. Tango spotted.
Okay, we place the health pack, place it closer to the to the corner so that you can actually be peeking and getting healed at the same time. Stay there, you know, be out in the open longer.
Fields online.
Uh-oh. Health pack. Besides that, maybe reloading while he was still running around there could have helped. Because I think we ran out of ammo and had to reload last second.
We did. I
Yep.
would have had him.
That's something I'm noticing as well once in a while here is that is like reload habits. Good idea to get in the habit of just reloading every time you're out of combat because you don't want to have to reload while you're in combat, right? You want to reload every chance you get while you're out of combat. So for example, a Sombra, that would be like when we translocate out, right? We translocate out, we reload, that way we have ammo while we're running back in. Soldier, that would be like, you know, when we're backing up and getting healed, when we're, you know, when we're running around the corner while we're taking cover, right? Those would all be, or when you just can't see anything, right? Those are, and anytime there's a lull in the fight, that's where we're reloading. That way we actually have ammo to work with. Because there's a couple times where we'll forget about it, and then we'll have like 7 ammo on Sombra when, you know, when there's people to be shooting at still.
I'll protect your friends.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Bionic field is ready for you.
Ah, I fell.
Oh, that's no good. You just gotta watch that. Maybe consider like crouching once you get close to an edge, so you that can help you lower your movement speed, not run off the edge. Also, at that point, when they're underneath us, we probably want to start backing. Right at that point, it's where we want to get better angles and make sure we're not so far forwards.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Hey, knows how to helix jump. There you go.
I didn't know if I could make that. I helix jump a lot. I just didn't know if I could make that one.
Mm-hmm.
The payload is approaching.
Uh-oh, gotta watch the payload. Might want to drop the health pack, right? Let our teammates heal up in it too. Just remember to just plop that anytime you know you're taking damage and you want to be staying in a spot, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have easy, you know, heals, so that'd just be a good spot because we know, okay, our whole team's gonna be on top of cart, that we can heal them all up. We know we're gonna need it because we're contesting people on cart. Okay. This ain't too shabby of a spot, but consider like, okay, what are we gonna do if they came to that high ground in front of us? Right, we might not have a lot of cover to work with. If there's a, you know, an Ash peeks up there, Soldier peeks up there, oh, like that, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you request healing. I'd recommend probably binding that if you don't have that bound, so that you just have it on a button. That'll give your supports an in-game audio cue, so that they can hear where you are and that you need healing, get you healing faster and easier.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
I have it bound. It's just with the sprinting with soldier, it's hard to. I can't run forward, press that, and shift at the same time.
Let's see. What do you have it bound to?
It's X. I think that's
X.
default.
Yeah, it is default. So let's see. All right, I am streaming if you'd like to take a look, and then we'll go over a bunch of different things here. Don't queue up quite yet. But, yeah, you can press... Typically, I press X with my thumb, I think is what I'll do.
I need help.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, because that feels weird to do any other finger. Sometimes you do it on muscle memory, you don't even think about it. But I'm pretty sure I do it with my thumb, you know, that way... Like, you know, it's also not, like you said, it's not interrupting sprint, it's not interrupting forwards. I don't need to be jumping while I press it a lot of the times. You just press it real quick. Alright, let's go over a bunch of different things here. Sombra. We want to be going in and out as fast as possible, because the slower we are with our rotations of going in and going out, then that's going to mean that we're spending more time out of these fights, and that means we do less damage. So what we want to be doing is health pack, hacked health pack, translocator on it, right? We come in. When we're coming in, we're going to try to run in as soon as possible. We're going to try to get in as soon as possible. Farm damage. When we come in, we're trying to stay here as long as possible, right? We're trying to shoot at the enemy team and stay behind them as long as possible, because the longer we get to stay here, the more damage we're doing, the more pressure we're applying, the more of a distraction we're being, the more hacks we're getting off. It's just the longer we're in, the more value we get. As soon as we feel pressured, so that doesn't always mean low health. Usually, though, it does mean low health. Maybe if they have some stuns for you, which there's not as many in Overwatch 2. If they have stuns for you, that can also mean it, right? Or if they have burst damage, that can be dangerous. But a lot of the time, it's going to start to be like, okay, your health bar is getting low. Probably want to translocate it out, okay? As soon as we translocate out, we can do all this at the same time. Because remember, all these cooldown, I'll notice that you kind of do the one, the next, right? We'll throw down our thing, and then slowly hack, and then turn invis, and then reload as we're walking back. But we can actually do, like, basically these all at the same time, right? So if we're decloaking, right? If we're in there and we get our cloak back, okay, we can translocate back here, cloak up, hack, and throw translocator, and we're out like that, right? It's really fast and smooth. We just, because we can...
Did you start streaming?
Oh, yes, I did.
I don't see it.
Do you see your own stream right now?
Yes.
Yes, click on your stream, and then it should give you more windows.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You see mine now?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, there we go. Okay, so I'll re-show you then. All right, so health pack, right? Over there, we come in, we try to stay in as long as possible. We feel pressured out. What you were doing a lot of times is that you would hack and then translocate and then, you know, and then do this and then walk out. Whereas we can do that a lot faster if we were to, you know, go shoot. Right, we get our, let's get the cooldown back. If we translocate here and we just immediately do this, oh, I think I canceled it myself there. We hack and do it, and we can do, remember that you can go invis and hack and throw translocator, whereas a lot of times I feel like we're throwing the invis up late, and you can also start walking away from it as you're doing this, right? Because you can start walking away with the speed and be throwing translocator back and be hacking. So we can just do that a lot more efficiently. So once again, just to show you what that looks like, we would engage. I'll do this really fast, right? We engage, we do stuff, right? We're staying in there, right? We're doing stuff, okay? We translocate back, we go like this, we hack, and then we're out, right? It's just going to take us, you know, 1 second, and then we're instantly running back in. There's a lot of times it ends up taking longer than that. Make sure that we are, once again, that we're placing health pack or our translocator down. Sometimes we'll run in with it and get into dangerous situations with it still off on cooldown. Sombra's range. Sombra's range is not like Soldier's range. Soldier is a mid-range character. Sombra's not. If you notice, when I'm right here on somebody, 10 meters away, I melt them pretty fast. Right? It's gonna go pretty easy. Right? 15 meters. Right? Melt them pretty fast still. Right? 20 meters back. Right? So from back here now, you start to notice it's a little bit slower. we're going to, the further away you go, you're going to start to suffer. And then now it's taking us almost a whole clip, right? So the further away you go, the more fall off damage you do, which means that the less damage we're doing overall. The further away you go as well, you have spread on your gun of Sombra, so you notice that some of the bullets are not, they're not only going to go to the same spots, we actually are going to be missing bullets too, because they spread out. Additionally, the further away you go, the smaller targets are, therefore the harder they are to hit. So Sombra's actually not going to be very effective from this range, because it can actually look more like that when you're shooting at people, and that's so slow of an attack that this from that range, when you're missing shots, they're moving around and you're moving around, right? It's going to probably look more like that, right, from that range, where you're using an entire clip and maybe getting the kill, but in that time, they have time to get around corners, they have time to get healed, to use tanking abilities, to, you know, just get away. The longer it takes for us to kill something, the longer they have to get away. That's why it's so valuable as Sombra that we're able to hack something and just shred them in half a second, right? That's much better than having to slowly tickle them down and then maybe getting them with a full clip, right? So as Sombra, you have a preference range, right? That's not to say that, like, we can't. Like, notice how back here, we just, even if we stand still, we do not want to be back here, right? Long range is not Sombra's forte. And then mid-range, right? I'd say about, like, I'd say 20 meters is, like, the cap of her preference range. Past that, like, you can, but it's just not going to be great if you're shooting past that. And then even within this, you're going to get better and better and better the closer you get. Now, I still would recommend, I probably wouldn't be, like, here on top of people, because then that makes it very easy for, like, Anna to land sleep, and for, you know, the other characters to hit shots on you. And there's maybe some other characters that also do good close range. So I'd maybe keep it around, like, 5 meters or so from people, right? Something like that. But 5 meters is probably your best. So when we sneak up on people, right, we're going to want to be within that 5 meters, which is actually what you did a lot of the times. But there's also, like, that one fight where we sat back at this range, you know, for half the fight. Or we sat at this range for the whole fight, and we just kind of did this on people, right? And it just wasn't really effective. We weren't really getting a lot of kills out of it. Alright, let's move on to crosshair placement. Is that a term that you've heard before?
Catch you later.
No.
No? Okay.
I feel like I've never heard it called, or yeah, I'll just go ahead and say no.
All good. Crosshair placement is just really handy. It's essentially using your brain to help out your aim. It's just the really easy way to hit more shots and to do more with your aim, especially for the, to use your words, the, you know, the older guys who aren't gonna have the reactions, right, as your glory days, right?
Sure.
So this is just going to be a great way to land more shots. Essentially, the first basic step is you want to make sure you're aiming at head level. Headshots do a lot more damage, or we can just see the difference between that and then that, how it's just so much slower. In fact, on most characters, it's going to actually be like double the damage. So if we're doing something like Soldier, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? You're basically doing double damage on most characters. So you want to be hitting headshots. Headshots do a lot more damage. Even if you're missing maybe a couple extra, 2 times damage means you'd have to be missing over twice the amount of shots by going for head level. And then when you're going for head level, actually, when you're aiming there, it just makes it natural to hit headshots. So what do I mean by that? It means that we don't have to adjust to hit headshots, whereas a lot of times I'm seeing you aiming here just leads to natural body shots. So if we're just shooting down the corridor, shooting into shields, shooting into a big group of people, we're just naturally hitting those body shots. But if we aim at head level, we just go up an inch, right? Now we do the same exact stuff. We're just taking a duel, shooting into shields, shooting down corridors, and now all of these shots just naturally become headshots, where, you know, before their body, now we're hitting heads. It's just a lot easier. You melt people a lot faster. Make sense? All right. Next step to this, with crosshair placement, is aiming where you know people are going to be. So we know bot is top right. We're going to pre-aim at head level top right. So the second they turn the corner, notice how it's very little adjustment. The less adjustment needed, the easier the shot is, right? We know bot's on the top left. We're already going to come out here looking left. So when we turn the corner, already aiming head level, already looking left. Very easy shots, right? It wasn't very difficult to do. Okay. These guys right here, they're on a little bit more of a slope. So the same way we look down on a Torb and up on a tank, right? This is going to be the base head level for most characters, but then some might be higher, some might be lower. These guys are on a slope, so we're going to look a bit lower here. So when we turn the corner, right, once again, already looking at their heads, right? Very easy shots to land rather than, you know, turning the corner and having to looking at the ground and then having to look up. Or you know, sometimes I'll note it. I would notice that, like, as soldier, right, we would do something like this where, like, there's the spawn, you know, the spawn corridor where we know people are going to come from, and we kind of have our crosshair, like, here, right? It would kind of be wandering around, maybe on a wall, maybe up in the air here. Whereas we want to make sure we're aiming at head level around the corner where we know they're coming from, right?
Not good enough.
Right. Thinking what else is there to discuss while we're here.
World, there are no secrets.
Yeah, actions per minute. Actions per minute is just actually, so before I go into that, why don't you queue up for a game? I think we'll be able to fit maybe one more in. Actually, we have 25 minutes. Are you good with doing a quick play?
Sure.
Sure. All right. Yeah. All right. We can do a quick play. Just queue up for that while we're talking here still. Just let me know when you get into it. So actions per minute is just, you know, how much are you doing? That we kind of talked about that before. You just want to be doing as much as possible at any given time. The more you're doing, the more value you get. It's kind of that simple. When you talk about, like, actions per minute and you were to compare a bronze player to a grandmaster player with mistakes, you know, of course they're going to have mistakes, but for the most part, they're going to be doing something with every second of their time. Whereas a bronze player might come in and then they might walk around the map for, you know, 10 seconds, and then they might start shooting, and then they'll, you know, go invis and run around, you know, for another 10 seconds, right? It's just a lot less efficient. There's a lot less going on, so you want to just make sure you're constantly doing stuff when you're able to. One part of this is while you're going in and out as Sombra, you're going to have kind of a couple different types of engagements, right? And kind of need to think about, like, what is my objective here while I'm going in. Sometimes we would go in, like, when we didn't have teammates with us. And that is okay, but it kind of depends. When the fight ends, you basically have time. If you're still alive, you have time to go in one time, and then that's it. You can't really go in right before the team engages, because if you go in and you are forced out, right? Let's say we don't even die. But let's say our team is regrouping. They're about to run back into the fight. We start shooting at stuff, right? We get pressured out pretty fast. We translocate away. Well, now we're just nowhere to be found when the fight actually starts, right? So what we'd want to do... Okay. Yeah, I heard the stream. So what we'd want to do is wait for our team to engage, and then that way we can engage with them. And then if the fight just recently ended, then we can probably go in by ourselves just because we have a lot of time to work with. We have like 20 seconds. So you can go in, do some farming damage. You're not necessarily looking for a kill. You're just trying to farm up EMP, and then you group up with your team. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can try to put a little bit of that into play here. All right.
In my world, there are no secrets.
So right now, first thing we're looking to do, I'd probably say the biggest thing I want to see is just efficiency and getting in and out of those fights. So look to get, try to find, first thing we're looking to find here is find a health pack, set up, throw a translocator down, and then instantly run into the fight. Make sure we were there to participate.
Okay.
Objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
Okay. Nearest one to robot. That might be hard. Maybe like this one there, but I don't know. I don't think there's one too much closer. Oh, there'd be the ones in those left rooms. So maybe you could do the mini behind them is another option for you.
That invis cooldown is Can't see through there.
Yep.
Much better. Translocators in place. Systems
Oh, there you go.
mucho mejor. Un sistema comprometido.
Yep. If you see that it's hacked still, you probably don't need to rehack it. I just rehack it if you come back and it's not, or if you know you haven't done it in a while. Okay. I try to curve behind them or to the sides of them if you can, because we're coming from the front a lot here. It's just going to make it hard for you to get value. Don't spend too much of your time shooting at the tanks. We didn't really go over that too much, but target priority, for the most part, the very basics is tanks are hard to kill. Don't want to, if you have the option, get around them. Don't force yourself to look at them. Watch the health bar here. Might want to grab like a health pack or something.
Just hack complete.
And hold their movement.
Ah.
Gotta go.
Yep. Make sure you're getting back to full HP before you're re-engaging, because you don't want to be, or at least mostly full. Going in at 80 HP means that you're just going to instantly have to come back out again.
Surrender to my will.
They've taken the robot.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know why I did that.
Yep. So make sure you're just cleaning up the fight right now. Now the fight's not going to be happening on the health pack, right? We're trying to go to the next health pack. Maybe that mega. Do you know where the mega is over here? Yep, right there. Yep. Right. Nope. No, right around the corner. Yep. There you go.
Hackeo listo.
Your team is
A little more, we have the lead.
Okay, we got EMP, so we can probably use that once we see our team's ready for it. Yeah, sometime around now would be good. Just make sure you're looking at people once again, right? Uh-oh.
Ah. Thought I hacked him. Or I thought I had got him with
EMP doesn't stop his ultimate.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah, it doesn't. Also, I think he's out of range of it as well.
Trying to keep me out.
Yeah, there's only, I think they actually reduced the ult, like certain ults too, because like now you can't EMP hog either. Or hack him out of it.
Channeled or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, right now we're looking to set up. Maybe get to that mini that we were on before.
Stop them
Yep, that'd probably be a good one.
Translocators in place. Hack complete.
Yep, and then we're instantly back in. Nice. Melee. There you go.
Back in control.
Just melee's good finisher, especially when you're running out of ammo. Uh-oh, ammo.
I heard my...
Good escape.
It's good to be in bronze, I guess.
I'm with you.
Alright, now we're setting up once again. Probably not on that one.
Right.
Yep, just want to think just where's the cart going? Where is it going to be set up?
We're so close to taking the lead. Always plan an entry. You're mine now.
Yeah, much smoother. Once again, I think we didn't have full ammo there. Oh, just gotta be careful getting too close, right? Because then she can see you.
Ah. Thought I canceled it.
Translocator set. Systems up.
Okay.
Sistema comprometido.
Once again, if the fight's happening, make sure I wouldn't spend too much time. Maybe just throw a translocator just like around the corner and then get back into the fight. You want to be, if the fight's happening, you want to be in it, especially if you're, if you have health.
stole the robot from us.
If you don't, you might want to get health.
System compromised. Much better.
We have the robot.
Apagando las luces.
Okay.
That was
The-
bad, EMP.
we'll talk about some kill feed watching. Main thing was that we didn't have our team with us when we did it. Also on top of that, once again, remember that your EMP is hacking everyone, so every single person in your EMP, you're able to do that point, 0.5 or 0.50 damage, increase against. So make sure we're actually aiming at enemies so that we can shred somebody out of EMP. Whereas every time you're kind of aiming at space.
Borrowing the robot. Don't expect that.
I don't know where the head packs are.
They took the robot from us.
Once again, might just be a good idea, like, just to have it somewhere, like, just even if you just toss it, like, away around the corner. That way, you just have it there. And then now that you're low, then you can run around and look for that health pack because you need to look for the health pack.
Right. Okay.
Just in case. Let me keep
Uh-oh.
I don't know where my team went. Thought they were on the other side of them.
Yeah, the other thing I encourage you to do is watch health bars for people. Sometimes it looks like we'll kind of lock onto a target when maybe somebody else is a bit lower. Somebody else is the better person to be shooting at. So watch people's health bars. So you can, know who to go on.
the old man.
I was just trying to get in there and do something. They're so spread out everywhere, and I don't know this map. I actually do not like the push maps.
Hmm.
In my opinion, it takes so much team coordination when you're losing
Yeah.
to come back.
I
If
think.
you're losing
yeah.
with 1 minute left, it's very difficult to come back and win.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot escape me. 60 seconds
System
remaining.
compromised. You're mine now. Apagando las luces.
Ouch.
Seconds
Let's
remaining.
get back online. Translocators in place.
That's a terrible spot.
10 seconds remaining.
Systems have
Overtime.
complete.
Oh, you just gotta be ready with the translocator. And watch health bar. Watch how much they're damaging you.
Yeah.
All right.
One more push. They have my attention.
All right. Though you were doing a bit better with just being smooth in that transition. I liked how you were in the fights more than that last game. All right. I am still streaming. I forgot to stop. And then I'm going to go over a few different things here. All right, so kill feed watching. There's that one fight where we ulted when we were down our whole team. Essentially, how do you tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight? The basics of that comes down to kill feed, because kill feed gives you a lot of handy info of who's up, who's down when it comes to teammates, and that's the basics of how you know if you're winning or losing. Generally speaking, 1 to 2, if you're up or down, 1 to 2 people, that is an advantage or a disadvantage. In those cases, you can either play more aggressively or more passively, alternatively. Then, when you are up or down, 2 to 3 people, that is a won fight or a lost fight. At that point, you probably want to get out if you can. If you can't, then you just let them kill you. And then if you've won the fight, you get extra aggressive, you go in really far. And then, in either case, whether or not you've won or lost, you don't want to be using ults, right? Because if you've won, it's just overkill. If you've lost, it's not going to change the fact that you've lost. So you probably just want to regroup. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll admit, I do have a hard time. I do have a hard time watching the kill feed whenever I'm in the thick of it.
Yeah, and that's something. Why don't we we can talk about application a little bit. So awareness as a concept is paying attention to our environments, and when it comes to awareness, right, you get better at awareness by paying attention to your environments, by thinking about it, by putting intentionally putting in effort. So the application process of the things we've talked about here is the same as it is with most things that you try to work on, and that is that you're going to intentionally focus upon the things that you're trying to work upon while you're playing. So that means that you're not going to come in and autopilot, you're not going to just play to play, and contrary to popular belief, you're not going to purely play to win, as when you purely play to win, though that is your objective, it just means you're never going to go anywhere, you end up stagnating, whereas when you play to improve, then you actually go places. Now, what that actually looks like within your gameplay is you're going to come in and you're going to think to yourself, let's say we're trying to work on awareness, you'd think to yourself, awareness, kill feed, and don't you think that if you say kill feed a billion times in your head while you're playing, you'll probably look at kill feed a bit more often than you do if you're not thinking about it, right? And then that will, in turn, make your awareness better, right? If you're looking at it more often, awareness is increased. When you do that for a long enough period of time, it forms it as a positive habit. And then it just comes naturally to the point in which you don't need to be putting as much focus and attention into it because it's just there. Then you can move to something else to work on, and that is the process of self-improvement and working on things. Is that focus, form as habit, and then move on to the next thing. I would say, though, don't try to do everything all at once. We've talked about a bunch of different things here. It'd get real overwhelming if you tried to do everything all at the exact same time. So instead, do one category of things, or 1 to 3 smaller things within a category, and we're going to go over that in a moment, what I would recommend. But does that all make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So let's hop into the review, wrap up, and main points then of the session. Sombra's abilities, right? Translocator, or I guess let's say Invis. Invis, I think is pretty good. One thing I'd mention is that you can probably hack and come out a little bit faster, right? Look how fast that is. Me coming out of the hack into the shooting. What we can do is we can hack, and then as soon as the hack is done, you press left click. So it's right click. Once the hack timing is done, we left click out of it and we can instantly start shooting. Whereas a lot of the times, I'm not sure if it's that we're trying to we're pressing the shift button, or if we're again to decloak, or if we're just a little bit delayed on it, but we hack and then do it. And you just notice how there's a delay between rather than just hacking and then immediately starting to shoot. Besides that, with Invis, make sure you're not walking into people, letting them see you.
So would you recommend popping or coming out of Invis before a hack?
No, I still do it while you're in Invis, but I'm saying note how there's a delay before you start shooting.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
Is that you'll do the hack, right? It'll look like this, where you'll do the hack, and then you'll delay, and then you'll come out and you start shooting, right? And that's kind of what it looks like while you're playing. Besides that, translocator, make sure you're not running in without translocator down. Sometimes you would just walk in and start shooting at stuff without it there, and then we'd go, oh snap, I don't got translocator anywhere, right? Besides that, try to place on health packs. Megas are preferenced. Minis are good. If it's on a mini, and health packs in general, make sure you're actually grabbing them. Sometimes we'd like walk right by a health pack and we'd be low HP and we just wouldn't grab it. Watch your health bar as well for that reason. Place, my recommendation is, unless you want to hide it because you think it's a place where people will find it easily, or people already know you're around the health pack, unless you're hiding it, place your translocator on the health pack. That eliminates a step, right? Because then you translocate and instantly get healed. Whereas if you place it over to the side, well, then you have to run over to it and grab it, right? Takes one less thing out of your brain. So like I said, unless you need to hide it, place it on top of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Translocate, right? We want to be getting more smooth with that process. Hack, I'm noticing a lot of times your hack's getting interrupted. Just make sure when we start to hack on stuff that we're not taking our hack off of people, that we're not running around corners, that we're just, we're making sure our hacks are getting off smoothly. Overall ability usage, I would probably say is like trying to think. This is going to sound confusing, but maybe like a lower end of a medium-high priority for you to work on. And then, let's say, ult usage, I think was pretty decent. Generally speaking, they don't really have a ton of stuns anymore in the game. I wouldn't usually do this, because then that means that you just don't have a way to get away. I would do that, because you can just invis, in behind them and get a largely the same effect. When you do, what would happen is that we'd do this and be looking in this direction where there's nobody. Whereas you want to be doing it and while you're looking at people, that way you can instantly start shooting at people. Right? Overall, that was about like... Also just make sure you're using it as often as you get it. Right? As long as the fight's going on, don't use it in won or lost fights. Overall, maybe about like a medium priority for you to work on. Something like that. Mechanics. Crosshair placement, aim at head level, aim where you know people are going to be. Target priority, we probably could have gone more in depth on it, but we didn't. But just make sure you're shooting at the easier targets to kill, the squishies, unless the tanks or the harder things to kill are low, out of position, or they're the only thing you can shoot at. Then you can shoot at them. But we spent a lot of times looking at tanks when we didn't really need to. So make sure you're going and seeking out those easier targets. When we're going in, make sure we're coming into the... I guess that's positioning, so I'll get to that in a minute. Actions per minute, make sure you're just trying to do as much as possible, as often as possible. We did a little bit better on that in our second game rather than our first one. But we just want to make sure we're going, doing. Try to make our rotations as fast as possible, because we just spend a lot of times out of fights, right? We don't want to be like spending entire fight durations not participating. And then that will just overall mean that you're able to do a lot more, practice a lot more as well. Overall, that one probably went to a medium-high priority. Then we have your... positioning, range on people, preference is 20 kind of cap, 5 is best, and then past this is just like you can, but usually not going to be fantastic. This is like a never, like you're not going to be able to do anything from back here. Use cover, just walk or make sure when you are placing translocators that you're placing it around where you know the fight's going to be. If the fight's done, go and replace, right? Sometimes I think you did a lot better than the second game as well, of finding that next spot to be. But just make sure you're keeping up with where's the fight going to be and resetting at those spots. Make sure that when you're invis, that you're not just coming in, decloaking in front of the people, walk to the sides of them, right? Go behind them. This makes it so that when you start shooting at them, they have to turn around to shoot at you. It makes it much harder for them. Overall, that was probably like a medium priority. Then finally you got awareness. Pay attention to your health bar. Watch kill feed. watch where is the enemy team at, because sometimes people would get the jump on us. We didn't know where they were. Watch their health bars. Shoot at the people who are low, right? Like sometimes we'd come into fights and we'd see this, and then we start shooting at that guy, right? Rather than this guy who's already down HP. Pay attention to where the heck is your team at, what's your team doing, where's the fight going, yada yada, all the here and there awareness things. Overall, that one probably goes, I don't know, maybe I put that at like higher end of a medium. So I put all that in order. Number 1 is going to be your mechanics. Number 2 is going to be ability usage on Sombra. Number 3 is going to be awareness, but it's very close to the others. 4, I would say, would be your positioning, and then 5 would be your ult usage. Really, the main thing is just don't use one of lost fights. Make sure you're actually looking at people when you use it, and then don't hold on to it, or make sure you're using it during when fights are happening. Any questions?
No, I think you touched on quite a bit.
All right. Sounds good with me. So,